1. The practice of acceptance plays a crucial role in Stoic philosophy, an ancient school of thought that originated in ancient Greece and had notable proponents such as Zeno of Citium, Epictetus, and Seneca. Stoicism teaches that the key to happiness and inner tranquility lies in the serene acceptance of circumstances beyond our control. Acceptance in Stoicism does not imply passive resignation, but rather a realistic and calm acknowledgement of the inevitable nature of certain events in life. Stoic philosophy divides things into two categories: those within our control, such as our actions, thoughts, and attitudes, and those beyond our control, such as external events, the behavior of others, and uncontrollable circumstances. The idea is to focus our energy and effort on what we can control, and serenely accept what is beyond our control. By doing so, we can avoid the frustration, anger, and unnecessary suffering associated with stubborn resistance to inevitable events. Epictetus, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, emphasized the importance of distinguishing between things within our control and those that are not. He stated, "What belongs to you? Things not subject to choice." Therefore, acceptance in Stoicism is deeply connected to understanding this distinction and practicing to direct our attention and effort towards what we can truly influence. By practicing Stoic acceptance, individuals are encouraged to cultivate an attitude of calmness in the face of life's vicissitudes, accepting things as they are without letting negative emotions dominate their minds. This does not imply indifference, but rather a balanced and reason-centered approach to the challenges we encounter. The practice of acceptance in Stoicism involves recognizing the difference between what we can and cannot control, and cultivating a serene attitude towards the inevitable and uncontrollable aspects of life. This approach aims to promote inner peace, wisdom, and resilience in the face of adversity. 2. For the Stoics, virtue is the only true good and is sufficient for achieving happiness. It is defined as moral excellence consisting of four cardinal virtues: wisdom or prudence, courage or fortitude, justice, and temperance. Let's briefly explore each of them. Wisdom, prudence. For the Stoics, wisdom involves correct discernment between what is good and bad, what is morally right and what is not. This includes understanding the nature of things, accepting what cannot be changed, and focusing on what can be controlled. Courage, fortitude. Stoic courage is not only related to physical bravery, but also to mental resilience. It involves the ability to face life's challenges with dignity and perseverance, accepting the inevitable with tranquility. Justice. Justice, for the Stoics, is the principle of treating others fairly and equitably. This implies acting impartially, respecting the rights of others, and contributing to the common good. Temperance. Temperance refers to self-control and moderation. The Stoics believed in the importance of avoiding excess and living a balanced life, steering clear of uncontrolled impulses and harmful indulgences. The Stoics held that by living according to these virtues, people would attain ataraxia, a state of tranquility and inner peace independent of external circumstances. They emphasize the importance of cultivating these virtues throughout life, constantly improving one's character and seeking moral excellence. Moreover, the Stoics recognized that many things in life are beyond our control, but the only thing we have control over is our response to these circumstances. Therefore, living in accordance with virtue involves serenely accepting what cannot be changed and acting wisely in response to what is within our control. This Stoic approach continues to inspire many in the pursuit of a meaningful and peace-filled life. 3. The expression meditation on the worst-case scenario is related to Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that flourished in ancient Greece and Rome. Stoicism teaches that the key to happiness lies in accepting what we cannot control and cultivating virtue, wisdom, and courage in our actions. The practice of meditation on the worst-case scenario is a Stoic technique that involves contemplating and mentally preparing for adversities and challenges that may rise in our lives. The goal is not to promote pessimism, but rather to develop resilience and emotional fortitude in the face of uncertainties. By meditating on the worst-case scenario, Stoics believe that we can confront our fears and anxieties, thus reducing their power over us. This involves imagining the most challenging situations we might face, accepting that these situations may occur, and reflecting on how we could handle them wisely and virtuously. This practice does not mean that we should live in constant fear of the worst, but rather be prepared for life's eventualities. By anticipating difficulties and accepting the possibility of the worst-case scenario, Stoics believe that we can develop an inner peace that helps us face challenges more calmly and balancedly. However, it is essential to note that Stoicism does not encourage fatalism or passive resignation in the face of adversity. Instead, Stoics emphasize the importance of focusing on what is within our control, cultivating virtues such as courage and wisdom, and acting ethically regardless of circumstances. Meditation on the worst-case scenario is a tool within this broader context of self-mastery and personal development. For one of the main emphases of Stoicism is the control of emotions as a means of achieving wisdom and inner tranquility. Stoic philosophy provides a practical approach to dealing with emotions, seeking ataraxia, a kind of equanimity or serenity in the face of adversities. Here are some fundamental principles of emotional control. According to Stoicism, distinguish between what can and cannot be controlled. Stoics believe that only things within our direct control deserve our attention. Emotions often rise when we excessively worry about events or circumstances beyond our control. By focusing on what we can control, we can reduce the impact of negative emotions, accept the inevitable with serenity. Stoics emphasize the importance of accepting life's inevitabilities calmly. This includes acknowledging that we cannot always avoid difficult situations, but we can control our reactions to them, accepting things as they are, without excessive resistance, contributes to inner peace. Practice indifference to external passions. Stoics advocated emotional indifference to external things such as wealth, status, or success. This does not mean they discouraged the pursuit of legitimate goals, but rather that these things should not dictate our emotional state. Developing an attitude of detachment from external passions can lead to greater emotional stability. Exercise self-discipline and self-control. Stoics believe that self-control is essential for living a virtuous life. By cultivating self-discipline, we can shape our impulses and reactions, choosing to act ethically and rationally even when faced with emotional challenges. Practice contemplation of impermanence. Stoics encourage reflection on the transience of life and the ephemeral nature of emotions, recognizing that fleeting emotions do not define our identity, or the nature of circumstances can help diminish the intensity of emotional reactions. Emotional control in Stoicism involves a commitment to rationality, acceptance of what cannot be changed, and the pursuit of virtue in all circumstances. By adopting these principles, Stoics believed it was possible to achieve a lasting state of inner peace regardless of life's external vicissitude. 5. Detachment from outcomes is a fundamental concept within Stoic philosophy, an ancient philosophical school that originated in ancient Greece and reached its peak during the Roman period. Stoicism proposes a practical approach to life, emphasizing virtue, reason, and serene acceptance of circumstances. Detachment from outcomes is especially associated with the Stoic idea of amor fati, love of fate, which implies accepting everything that happens as part of the natural course of things and, more importantly, learning to deal with adversities without losing serenity. This does not mean that Stoics were indifferent to events or did not strive to achieve their goals. On the contrary, they value effort and excellence. However, they recognized that they did not always have control over the final results. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus, for example, emphasized the importance of distinguishing between what is in our control, actions, choices, and attitudes, and what is not, external events, outcomes. He argued that our happiness should depend only on things we can control, while things beyond our control should be accepted with calmness and equanimity. Detachment from outcomes does not imply apathy or lack of ambition. Instead, it emphasizes the need not to be excessively affected by external events. This allows a person to maintain inner peace regardless of external circumstances. Stoics believe that by cultivating a mindset of detachment, individuals would become more resilient, less prone to unnecessary distress, and better able to face life's challenges with courage and wisdom. Detachment from outcomes in Stoic philosophy involves seeking excellence in actions, serenely accepting what is beyond our control, and cultivating a mindset of equanimity in the face of life's ups and downs. This is considered a path to achieving a more meaningful and tranquil life. 6. Daily self-discipline is an important concept within Stoic philosophy, which had a significant influence in antiquity, especially with thinkers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. Stoicism is a philosophical school that emphasizes the importance of self-control, reason, and serene acceptance in the face of life's adversities. In the Stoic perspective, daily self-discipline refers to the constant commitment to cultivate habits and behaviors aligned with virtue and reason. Stoics believe that true happiness and tranquility come not only from accepting external circumstances, but also from developing character and virtue. Here are some Stoic principles related to daily self-discipline. Virtue as the supreme good. Stoics considered virtue as the supreme good and the foundation for a well-lived life. Daily self-discipline involves the constant practice of virtue such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Control over reactions. Daily self-discipline includes the ability to control emotional reactions to situations. Stoics believe that while we cannot control external events, we have the power to control our responses to those events. Acceptance and adaptation. Self-discipline is also related to the serene acceptance of circumstances that cannot be changed. This does not imply passive resignation, but understanding that we can choose our response and act virtuously even in the most challenging situations. Daily reflection. Stoics practiced daily reflection, examining their actions, thoughts, and behaviors. This introspective exercise helps maintain self-discipline, allowing them to adjust their habits and continuously improve. Focus on the present. Daily self-discipline involves living in the present, concentrating on actions that can be taken today, rather than excessively worrying about the past or future. By practicing daily self-discipline within the context of Stoicism, people sought to develop a solid and resilient character, capable of facing life's ups and downs with equanimity and virtue. This approach remains relevant today, offering guidance on how to cultivate a meaningful and well-lived life. 7 Nightly reflection, or the practice of reflecting before bedtime, can be a valuable tool when viewed in light of Stoic principles. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that teaches the pursuit of virtue, acceptance of what cannot be changed, and understanding what is within our control. In the Stoic tradition, nightly reflection can serve as a moment to review the day that has passed, consider actions and reactions, and evaluate how these experiences align with fundamental values and principles. Some specific practices associated with nightly reflection in the context of Stoicism include examination of conscience, reflecting on the day's actions, identifying virtuous behaviors, and areas where one could have acted more wisely or ethically. Gratitude, acknowledging and appreciating the positive aspects of the day, focusing on the positive instead of lamenting difficulties. Acceptance of uncontrollable things, identifying events or situations beyond personal control, and practicing acceptance, aligning with the Stoic idea of distinguishing between what can be controlled and what cannot. Mental preparation, anticipating future challenges, and visualizing ways to face them calmly and wisely. Applying Stoic principles of internal control over emotional reactions. Setting goals for the next day, establishing realistic goals aligned with Stoic values to guide actions the next day. The goal of nightly reflection in Stoicism is not just assessment, but also cultivating a mindset of constant self-improvement. By reviewing daily experiences, Stoics seek to learn from each situation, developing resilience, virtue, and a mindset centered on ethical principles. This nightly practice can contribute to building a lifestyle more aligned with Stoic ideals, promoting a more conscious and reflective approach to daily life. 8. Daily gratitude is a practice rooted in Stoic philosophy, a school of thought that developed in ancient Greece. Stoicism teaches that the key to a fulfilling and happy life lies in accepting things we cannot control and focusing our efforts on what we can control, especially our own attitudes and responses to circumstances. In the context of daily gratitude, Stoics emphasize the importance of cultivating gratitude for what we have regardless of the adversities we may face. Here are some key aspects of this practice. Focus on the present. Stoics value the present moment and the importance of accepting current circumstances. The practice of daily gratitude involves recognizing and appreciating the positive things happening in our lives right now, regardless of the challenges we may face. Acceptance of circumstances. Stoic gratitude is not based solely on positive things, but also on accepting adversities. Stoics argue that we can learn and grow from difficulties, turning them into opportunities to develop resilience and wisdom. Focus on internal control. The practice of daily gratitude focuses on what is within our internal control. This means that even in challenging circumstances, we can choose our attitude and response. Gratitude is an expression of this conscious choice to focus on the positive. Simplicity and humility. Stoics value simplicity and humility, The practice of daily gratitude often involves recognizing and appreciating simple things in life, cultivating an attitude of humility towards what we have rather than constantly desiring more. Regular reflection, the practice of daily gratitude, is something to be incorporated into daily routine. Stoics recommend regular reflection on things we are grateful for, reminding ourselves that life is fleeting and we should cherish each moment. By adopting daily gratitude from a Stoic perspective, people aim to develop a more positive, resilient mindset focused on what truly matters. Gratitude becomes a tool for finding meaning and contentment even in the most challenging situations. 9. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that has had a significant influence on Western thought in the context of value assessment. Stoicism proposes an approach that focuses on serene acceptance of circumstances and the pursuit of virtue as the supreme value. Here are some key points related to value assessment according to Stoicism. Indifference to external things. Stoics teach that we should cultivate indifference to external things that are beyond our control. This includes external events such as wealth, health, and others' opinions. Instead of basing our happiness on these uncertain variables, Stoics suggest focusing efforts on what is within our control, our choices, values, and actions. Virtue as the supreme good. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of virtue as the supreme good. Virtue, in this context, refers to moral qualities such as courage, justice, wisdom, and self-discipline. According to Stoics, true happiness and fulfillment come from practicing these virtues, regardless of external circumstances. Rational evaluation of emotions. Stoics believe in rationally evaluating emotions and choosing appropriate responses. Instead of being dominated by impulsive emotions like anger or fear, Stoics advocate a rational and controlled approach. This involves recognizing emotions, but not allowing them to negatively influence decisions. Or inner peace, acceptance of nature and fate. Stoicism advocates acceptance of the nature of things and fate. This does not mean passive resignation, but recognizing reality and working within the limitations imposed by nature and fate. Accepting things as they are and acting according to reason is a fundamental part of Stoic philosophy. Material detachment. Stoics encourage material detachment and simplicity in life, valuing simple things and not overly relying on material possessions is considered essential for achieving inner tranquility. In summary, value assessment in Stoicism revolves around the pursuit of virtue, serene acceptance of circumstances, control of emotions through reason, and detachment from external things. This philosophy seeks to cultivate a mindset that promotes inner peace, regardless of external adversities. 10*. The understanding of impermanence is a central theme in Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that greatly influenced Western thought. Stoicism teaches that accepting impermanence is essential for achieving tranquility and wisdom in life. This philosophy originated in ancient Greece, but was further developed by philosophers like Zeno of Citium, Cleanthes, and Epictetus, among others. In the context of Stoicism, impermanence refers to the ephemeral and transient nature of all aspects of life, including emotions, circumstances, and even existence itself. Stoics believe that most people suffer because they are attached to things that are fleeting and beyond their control. By accepting impermanence, Stoics sought to cultivate an attitude of emotional and mental detachment, from external circumstances. Some key principles related to understanding impermanence in Stoicism include distinction between what is under our control and what is not. Stoics emphasize the importance of focusing only on what is under our direct control, such as our actions, attitudes, and values. External circumstances, many of which are ephemeral, were beyond human control. Hammer fati love of fate. Stoics encouraged the active acceptance of life's circumstances, even those that are difficult or challenging. Instead of resisting change and impermanence, they proposed embracing the natural course of events with acceptance and equanimity. Emotional detachment. Understanding impermanence led Stoics to cultivate emotional detachment from material things, people, and even their own emotions. This did not mean the absence of feelings, but rather the ability not to be dominated by them. Awareness of the present moment. Stoics emphasized the importance of living in the present, savoring each moment without excessive concern for the past or future. This awareness of the present moment helped cultivate a deeper understanding of impermanence. By embracing impermanence and cultivating these principles, Stoics believed that individuals could find greater inner peace and a more lasting form of happiness, regardless of life's changes and challenges. These teachings continue to be studied and applied by many today as a philosophical approach to living a fuller and more meaningful life. 11. Judgment control is a central concept in Stoic philosophy, a school of thought founded in ancient Greece by philosophers like Zeno of Citium, Cleanthes, and Chrysippus. Stoicism offers guidance on how to achieve inner tranquility and wisdom in the face of life's adversities, and control of judgment plays a fundamental role in this process. According to Stoics, human emotions and emotional reactions are influenced by the judgments we make about external events. It's not the events themselves that cause suffering, but rather our interpretations and assessments of those events. Therefore, judgments control refers to the ability to consciously manage our perceptions and judgments about the circumstances we face. The central idea is that while we may not have complete control over what happens around us, we do have the power to control how we interpret and respond to those events. Stoics emphasize the importance of cultivating a calm and balanced mind, not being disturbed by intense emotions or impulsive reactions. This is achieved through the constant exercise of reason and discernment. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus, for example, highlighted the importance of distinguishing between what is under our control, our mind, opinions, actions, and what is not, external events, others' behavior. By focusing our energy on what we can control, we develop greater resilience and acceptance of what we cannot change. Judgment control is, therefore, a fundamental tool for achieving ataraxia, which is the state of tranquility and imperturbability sought by Stoics. By questioning and adjusting our judgments, we can transform our emotional reactions, making them more aligned with reason and virtue and less susceptible to *14. The principal focus on what can be controlled is a fundamental idea in Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that had a significant influence on Western thought. Stoicism teaches that we should direct our attention and energy towards what is under our direct control, and not overly concern ourselves with things beyond our influence. This teaching is related to the three fields of concern outlined by the Stoics: things under our direct control, inner circle, our thoughts and judgments, our emotions and reactions, our actions and behaviors, things not under our direct control, outer circle, external events and circumstances beyond our influence, actions and decisions of other people, the past and the future. Things partially under our control, intermediate zone. We accept things we cannot change and concentrate our attention on continuous self-improvement. This approach has practical implications in various aspects of life. For example, our health to some extent, our material resources. To a certain extent, Stoicism emphasizes that by focusing our efforts on what we can control, we develop greater resilience and equanimity. Acceptance, accepting circumstances beyond our control, and not getting excessively disturbed by external events. Self-mastery, developing self-control over our emotional reactions and impulses by following the principle focus on what can be controlled. The Stoics believe that we could achieve a more serene and virtuous life, regardless of external adversities. This teaching continues to be a source of inspiration. Present focus, concentrating on the present moment, instead of worrying excessively about the past or the future. Detachment from outcomes, performing virtuous actions, without becoming overly attached to the results, as these are largely beyond our control, and guidance for many people seeking a philosophical approach to facing life's challenges. 15 Self-knowledge plays a fundamental role in Stoic philosophy, an ancient school of thought that had a significant influence on the development of ethics and psychology. The Stoics believe that attaining wisdom and virtue was the path to achieving happiness and inner tranquility. Self-knowledge was considered a crucial step in this process for the Stoics. Self-knowledge involves a deep understanding of oneself, including the comprehension of one's emotions, desires, and values. This knowledge would enable individuals to live in accordance with reason and nature. To key concepts in Stoic philosophy: nature, physics, and ethics. Stoic philosophy also emphasized living in accordance with nature. This involved accepting natural events and understanding that some things are beyond human control. Self-knowledge allowed individuals to identify reason. Logos. The Stoics believed that humans were endowed with reason and should live in accordance with it. Self-knowledge helped people recognize and understand the reason within them, allowing them to make decisions and act consistently with logic and wisdom, their own natures, and work in harmony with them. Accepting what they could not change and acting ethically in areas they could influence. Emotional control. Stoics considered emotional control a vital aspect of self-knowledge. By understanding their emotional reactions, individuals could learn to deal with them in a rational and balanced manner, avoiding being controlled by harmful impulses. Virtue. Self-knowledge was also related to the pursuit of virtue, one of the Stoics' primary goals. Knowing oneself allowed people to identify areas for improvement and progress toward virtue, achieving a state of moral excellence. For the Stoics, self-knowledge was a vital element for living a fulfilling and virtuous life. Knowing oneself empowered individuals to act in accordance with reason, accept nature, and pursue virtue as a means of attaining true happiness and inner tranquility. 16 Moderation in pleasures is a concept associated with Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that had a significant influence in Greece and Rome. Stoicism highlights the importance of self-control, reason, and serene acceptance of life's circumstances. Within this context, moderation in pleasures refers to the idea of avoiding excess and seeking balance in the pursuit of pleasure. Stoics believe that pleasure should not be the ultimate goal of life but rather a natural byproduct of living in accordance with reason and virtue. They warned against excessive indulgence in sensory pleasures such as food, drink, and other physical desires, as it could lead to the enslavement of passions and impair the ability to make rational decisions. Moderation in pleasures is related to the notion of self-discipline and control over one's emotions and desires. Stoics argue that seeking pleasures in an unrestrained manner could lead to dissatisfaction, emotional dependency, and the loss of inner tranquility. Instead, they encourage the moderate appreciation of pleasures, recognizing that true well-being comes from virtue, self-control, and wisdom. This concept does not imply a complete rejection of pleasures, but rather approaching them in a balanced and conscious manner. Moderation in pleasures is a manifestation of the Stoic principle of living in accordance with nature, which involves accepting things that cannot be changed, cultivating virtue, and seeking inner tranquility regardless of external circumstances. In the Stoic context, moderation in pleasures emphasizes the importance of not being carried away by pleasures excessively and uncontrollably, but rather seeking a balance that allows for a virtuous and serene life. 17 Acceptance of change is a central theme in Stoicism, and Stoics emphasize the importance of cultivating a serenely accepting attitude towards life's events and circumstances. According to Stoicism, the world is in constant flux, and many events are beyond our control. However, the only thing we can control is our response to these events. Stoics argue that accepting change is crucial for achieving tranquility and wisdom. Here are some key principles related to accepting change in the context of Stoicism. Distinguish between what we can control and what we cannot. Stoics emphasize the importance of distinguishing between what is under our direct control and what is beyond external events, such as changes in weather, actions of others, or unexpected circumstances, are outside our control. The focus should be on our own attitudes, choices, and actions. Accept inevitable events. Stoics advocate accepting the inevitable nature of changes and events beyond our control. Instead of resisting these changes, they suggest embracing them with serenity and understanding. Amor fati, love of fate. This is a central concept in Stoicism, meaning to love and accept everything that happens in your life, even adversities. Rather than lamenting circumstances, Stoics propose finding ways to grow and learn from them. Understand impermanence. Stoicism recognizes the ephemeral nature of all things. Nothing in the world remains the same, and accepting change as an inherent part of existence helps develop resilience in the face of life's vicissitudes. Live in the present. Stoics encourage living in the present moment, instead of excessively worrying about the past or the future. Accepting change involves embracing the present with a calm and focused mind. Acceptance of change in the context of Stoicism involves cultivating a mindset that embraces the inevitabilities of life with serenity, wisdom, and courage. This does not imply passive resignation, but rather an active and balanced approach to situations beyond our control. 18 An integral part of Stoic philosophy is related to internal control over emotions and serene acceptance of external circumstances. This is reflected in how Stoics approach effective communication. Effective communication in the context of Stoicism is intrinsically linked to the concept of logos, which can be understood as a universal reason governing the universe. Stoics believe that aligning our communication with logos could lead to clear and ethical expression, Here are some principles related to effective communication in Stoicism. Clarity and simplicity. Stoics valued clarity in communication. Expressing thoughts in a simple and direct manner helps avoid misunderstandings and confusion. Language should be accessible and understandable for the message to be conveyed effectively. Emotional control in communication. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of maintaining emotional serenity. This means that, while communicating, it is crucial to control emotions, to avoid impulsive responses, and ensure a thoughtful and reflective expression. Empathy and acceptance. Stoics encourage empathy and understanding others' perspectives. This doesn't mean automatically agreeing with all opinions, but rather accepting differences with tranquility and responding in a way that promotes mutual understanding. Focus on what can be controlled. One of the fundamental ideas of Stoicism is the concept of distinguishing between what we can control and what we cannot in communication. This implies focusing on expressing our ideas and intentions clearly, while accepting that others' reactions are beyond our control. Respect for truth. Stoics valued truth and honesty. Effective communication involves being truthful, but also choosing words wisely to avoid causing unnecessary harm. Acceptance of constructive criticism. In the pursuit of Stoic virtue, it is important to be open to constructive criticism. Accepting feedback calmly and reflectively contributes to personal improvement and enhances communication. By following these principles, Stoics believed it was possible to achieve effective communication that not only conveys information clearly, but also promotes harmony, mutual understanding, and ethical development. These ideals remain relevant in the quest for meaningful communication in today's world. Asterisk 19. A fundamental characteristic of Stoicism is the constant pursuit of learning and personal growth according to Stoic principles. Wisdom and virtue are supreme values, and the continuous quest for knowledge is seen as an essential path to achieve these objectives. Stoics believe that reason was the highest human faculty and should be used to understand the world and enhance one's nature. In this context, the constant pursuit of learning involves applying reason to comprehend the fundamental truths of existence, cultivate virtue, and develop practical wisdom to cope with life's challenges. For Stoics, learning is not just an intellectual exercise, but also a practical and ethical journey. It involves applying the learned principles to live a meaningful life in accordance with nature. This includes accepting things that cannot be changed, cultivating serenity in the face of adversity, and acting ethically in all situations. The constant pursuit of learning in Stoicism is also related to the idea of self-mastery. Stoics believe that by learning more about oneself and the world, individuals could gain greater control over their emotions, impulses, and reactions. This self-regulation was considered essential for achieving inner tranquility and true freedom. The constant pursuit of learning in Stoicism is a vital component for personal and moral development. It involves applying reason to understand the nature of existence, cultivating virtue, and acting ethically. This active approach to learning is seen as a means to achieve practical wisdom and live a fulfilling and meaningful life. Asterisk 20. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy founded in Greece by philosophers like Zeno of Citium, Cleanthes, and Chrysippus, offers a unique approach to cultivating meaningful relationships. This philosophy emphasizes the importance of self-control, acceptance of circumstances, and the development of virtues to achieve a fulfilling and happy life. In the context of cultivating relationships, Stoicism provides valuable guidelines. Stoic virtues. Stoicism highlights four fundamental virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Cultivating these virtues in oneself and appreciating them in others is crucial for building meaningful relationships. Acceptance of things beyond control. Stoics teach that we should focus on things we can control and accept those beyond our control. This includes accepting the flaws and peculiarities of others, contributing to more harmonious relationships. Understanding impermanence. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the ephemeral nature of all things, understanding that people and relationships evolve and change over time helps develop a more flexible and adaptable mindset. Empathy and compassion. Stoics recognize the importance of understanding others' emotions and perspectives. Developing empathy and compassion contributes to building deeper and more meaningful relationships. Moderate detachment. While Stoics value relationships, they also emphasize moderate detachment. This means appreciating and valuing others without overly relying on them for one's own happiness. Maintaining a healthy emotional autonomy. The art of communication. Clear and respectful communication is vital for Stoics. Expressing oneself honestly yet compassionately contributes to building relationships based on trust and mutual understanding. Universal love storage. Stoicism promotes the concept of universal love, known as storge. This type of love is based on accepting people as they are, with all their imperfections, contributing to deeper and more authentic relationships. In summary, cultivating meaningful relationships, according to Stoicism, involves practicing Stoic virtues, accepting circumstances beyond control, understanding impermanence, developing empathy, practicing moderate detachment, and valuing effective communication. These principles can guide individuals in building healthier and more satisfying relationships. 21. Humility, according to Stoic principles, plays a fundamental role in personal development and the pursuit of virtue. Stoicism values modesty and the ability to recognize one's own position in the world, as well as accepting individual limitations. Here are some aspects of humility in the context of Stoicism. Recognition of human limitations. Stoics emphasize that humans are fallible and limited in their understanding, abilities, and control over events. Humility begins with acknowledging these limitations. Acceptance of the uncontrollable. Stoic humility is intrinsically linked to accepting what is beyond our control. Acknowledging that certain events and circumstances are outside our direct influence is a sign of humility. Learning from adversity. Stoic humility involves a willingness to learn from adversities instead of rejecting or resisting challenges. Stoics seek to understand the lessons that can be drawn from these experiences. Valuing others. Stoics highlight the importance of valuing others as equals, regardless of differences in social status, wealth, or power. Treating others with respect and understanding is an expression of humility. Practice of gratitude. Cultivating gratitude is an essential aspect of Stoic humility. Recognizing and appreciating the contributions of others to our lives demonstrates an attitude of gratitude and respect. Continuous self-evaluation. Humility involves an honest self-assessment. Stoics encourage constant self-reflection to identify areas for improvement and personal development. Recognition of interconnectedness. Stoics see the interconnectedness of all human beings and nature. Humility, in this context, includes understanding that we are part of something greater, and our existence is intertwined with that of others and the universe. Absence of unnecessary pride, avoiding excessive pride and arrogance is a central part of Stoic humility, recognizing that pride often stems from illusions and that everyone is subject to flaws and imperfections is crucial. By integrating humility into their lives, Stoic practitioners seek to create a mindset that favors authenticity, personal growth, and deeper connection with others and the world around them. This humble approach contributes to a more balanced life, aligned with the ethical and moral principles of Stoic philosophy. 20. One of the central ideas of Stoicism is the pursuit of wisdom and virtue to achieve a fulfilling and meaningful life. In the context of constant goal evaluation, we can explore how this philosophy addresses goal definition and pursuit. Stoics emphasize the importance of setting goals that are directly under our control, avoiding excessive reliance on external factors. They propose that we should focus our efforts on what we can influence and serenely accept what is beyond our control. This approach is expressed through the famous Stoic dichotomy, which categorizes events into two: what is within our control will, and what is not within our control. What happens in constant goal evaluation? Stoics encourage regular self-reflection. This involves questioning whether the established goals align with fundamental principles and values, as well as whether they are within our capacity to influence. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the need to adjust our goals according to changes in circumstances and our own understandings and aspirations. Stoicism also highlights the importance of cultivating virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance as fundamental goals. Instead of focusing exclusively on external or materialistic goals, Stoics argue that true fulfillment comes from the development and practice of these virtues. By constantly evaluating our goals in light of these Stoic principles, we seek to ensure that our pursuit of achievements and goals aligns with an ethical and meaningful life, serenely accepting inevitable changes and continuously adapting our goals help us achieve a resilient and balanced mindset. Qualities valued by Stoics. In summary, constant goal evaluation in the context of Stoicism involves a continuous process of self-reflection, goal adjustment, and focus on what is truly under our control. 23. The development of moral courage is a fundamental theme in Stoic philosophy. Stoicism, an ancient school of philosophy that thrived in Greece and Rome, remains relevant today, with its teachings focusing on achieving ataraxia, a kind of tranquility of the soul, through the development of virtues such as moral courage. According to Stoics, moral courage doesn't only refer to physical bravery in the face of physical dangers, but also to the courage to confront life's adversities with dignity and wisdom. This courage is related to the fundamental Stoic virtue known as wise courage. Here are some principles of moral courage development. According to Stoicism, acceptance of the uncontrollable. Stoics emphasize the importance of accepting circumstances that cannot be changed. Developing moral courage involves accepting reality and dealing wisely with situations, whether favorable or unfavorable. Control of emotional reactions. Stoics believe that we have control over our emotional reactions to situations. Developing moral courage means cultivating the ability to face challenges without being overwhelmed by negative emotions such as fear or anger. Self-knowledge and self-discipline. For Stoics, moral courage results from self-knowledge and self-discipline, knowing oneself, understanding one's values, and maintaining moral discipline are essential steps in developing the inner courage needed to face difficulties, focus on duty and virtue. Moral courage, according to Stoics, is linked to fulfilling duty and pursuing virtue. This involves acting ethically, even when confronted with significant obstacles and challenges. Practice of indifference to external things. Stoics teach the importance of not becoming overly attached to external things and recognizing that many events are beyond our control. Developing moral courage includes learning to be indifferent to things outside our domain and focusing on what we can control, our choices and attitudes. In summary, for Stoics, moral courage is an intrinsic quality developed through wise acceptance of reality, emotional control, self-knowledge, self-discipline, and a focus on ethical virtues. These principles continue to inspire many people to seek a more courageous and meaningful life. Today,